Shaun Frell is therefore in charge of Fundstrat's digital asset research. Additionally, I was given some broad objectives to strive toward. According to one of his theories, if we consider Circle and its free cash multiple, which is currently at 130 times EBITDA, Ethereum is roughly equivalent to $15,000. It's possible that Mark Newton, our tech manager, believed Ethereum could hit 4,000 by the end of the month. However, it doesn't truly reach its zenith there. That is the first line of defense in his opinion. Then I come up with another idea. By the end of the year, I concur with Shaun Frell that 10 to 15,000 makes sense. Either before or after the year ends, it might occur. It is somewhat different. A figure exceeding 5,000 would undoubtedly indicate that Ethereum has hit its highest peak ever, even though that wouldn't be the highest point. I concurred that monitoring the amount is crucial. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, you can now find Tom Lee more frequently. He gives you a lot of new information that I believe would be quite beneficial. The role of stablecoins and how they impact the price increase of the cryptocurrency assets that stablecoin deals are held on is one of the most significant subjects that this video will address. Tom Lee discussed how transactions combining USDC and USDT on the Ethereum network have increased the price of Ethereum. This is due to the fact that this network is where the majority of these stablecoin transactions take place. But please consider this. Could Ethereum's fivefold price increase be due solely to reliable coin exchanges? If so, what is the likelihood that the price of our XRP will follow suit? Since many people use RLDUSD, it will be the main topic of today's show. The answer will surprise you. I want to briefly inform you that my secret free trading organization, Crypto Crusaders, is now accepting new members. After you join, you will be able to view all of my postings and trades. On multiple occasions, I have achieved returns of up to 400% in a single month. You guys should have no trouble getting in. Follow these 3 steps on my website after viewing the film. Let's hear what Tom Lee has to offer. Ethereum is once again being viewed as a chain by many people. Some people used to dislike it, either because of the way Layer 1 and Layer 2 interact, or because the network has improved and become faster. Since stablecoins have altered their opinions about the potential utility of cryptocurrencies, they are focusing a lot of their efforts on Ethereum. Crypto is gaining traction on Wall Street. Stablecoins have made cryptocurrency a ChatGPT moment, as we have already stated. This is because stores, especially those outside of the US, are beginning to accept it because so many people are using it. Banks now view it as an effective business strategy. Croup recently informed us that even if it's just to monitor their bank base, they want to create a secure coin. But are Wall Street really embracing cryptocurrency? Only a few things will matter in the end. Since many real-world assets are already tied down and on Layer 1, there are of course Wall Street people who desire a large chain that will follow the rules in the US. For this reason, we believe Ethereum will play a significant role in 10 years. Can Ethereum keep up? Indeed. Their only responsibility is to make sure that we can use the available gas and that there is enough for everyone. At that point, you should know how significant these banks are and how they generate revenue through betting. I believe that people want to improve things for us when they re-engage with a token or token market. This Ethereum-related ChatGPT now, in my opinion, will also contribute to the emergence of a new wave of ideas. The situation is the same as the first time ChatGPT arrived in Silicon Valley. Everyone had spent decades working for SaaS before this. But you know what? These days, a lot of venture-backed companies use ChatGPT and AI. These companies are growing rapidly and will soon reach 1 million clients. This is a critical moment for the industry to realize that the convergence of Wall Street might alter the significance of Ethereum and smart contracts. This is because it will generate a lot of interest in new applications. As a result, I believe Ethereum's power could increase rapidly. What is your prediction for the value of ETH in the second half of the year? As a price, we aim to approach Fundstrat. I wear various hats because of this. I am the head of research at Fundstrat and the chairman of BitMine. Serving as the chief information officer at Fundstrat Capital is my third job. But Fundstrat's Shaun Frell, who oversees the research of digital assets, gave me some broad objectives to strive toward. It makes sense. You already know that Layer 1 requires the employment of a several in order to add interest. This is because you know software companies are paid more than stores. When you are farther away from the customer, there is more noise and you charge a business more to do something. Our technical analyst Mark Newton would have predicted that by the end of the month we might see 4,000 for a hypothesis, but it doesn't peak there. That is the first line of defense in his opinion. Then I come up with another idea. I concur with Shaun Frell that assuming his calculations are correct, 10 to 15,000 makes reasonable. Due to the it can happen before or after the year ends, it is somewhat different. It would be obvious that Ethereum had hit its highest point ever if that level rose. Above 5,000. It shows that one, but it's not the cap. I concur that monitoring the amount is crucial. We firmly believe that Ethereum is a very cheap token. For these and other reasons I mentioned, cryptocurrency is enjoying a cheap time. In this case, Ethereum is actually the second-grade winner. It is wise to invest in anything that has the potential to increase in value by 10 times or more. When Bitcoin was worth a lot, MicroStrategy started their bank strategy. And some others ask, why don't you just buy Ethereum? You can get more Ethereum per share if you invest in an Ethereum treasury company. These companies rely on volatile capital markets to raise funds. In this method, they might bet and win money. BitMine is one such example. $250 million in Ethereum was the starting point. That round was over in July, either the 8th or the 9th. 3 days later, BitMine increased the treasury's balance by another $250 million. Only 3 days later, on Friday of last week, did the treasury reserves double in size. The fact that the amount of ETH you thought you had doubled in just 3 days shows that it is a good idea to have a treasury company that leverages the capital markets to buy more ETH. This is still an ongoing occurrence. This is why I believe it's beneficial to hold a treasury company that does this. Tom Lee's main point is that secure coins will be accepted and used by large banks and other financial organizations. In my opinion, this will also be the next big thing in the cryptocurrency industry. This means that the most important factor is the blockchain on which these institutions decide to store their secure coin. This is a question we should all ask ourselves. Among the things they want are smart contracts that benefit their clients and increase their current income. These banks are rapidly producing their own secure coins as a result. They understand that this excellent method of earning money can help them make a lot more money. But we also have to tell these banks about the blockchain that will be most beneficial to them. All right, so Ethereum has a number of great features including open apps and smart contracts, but the XRPL also does this to survive in this new environment. With all of these new features and ways to join, it is now being built from the ground up. And it's also important to remember that the XRPL was designed to support these payment options, that we would receive all of this market value if we could successfully complete all of these consistent coin transactions. As stated by Tom Lee, the current trend of USDC and stablecoins should be sufficient to drive Ethereum or XRP to $15,000. In this case, imagine trillions of dollars buying and selling secure coins over the XRPL. What does that mean for the notion that XRP will rise in value? XRP more broadly. Many people like to discuss how absurd it is because each XRP is $1,000. That's what I think could lead them to that. If those kinds of things occur, that might happen, despite the fact that it seems absurd.